Hello, ODAC basketball fans, and welcome to another edition of the ODAC Women's Basketball Preseason Interviews. I have four of our coaches with us here today. I have Bryan Harvey from Ferrum College, Sarah Mathews from Guilford College, Liz Hudy from Virginia Wesleyan University, and Christine Clancy from Washington Lee University. Coaches, collectively, how are you today?
Great.
Wow.
Excellent. Couple days into preseason here, several practices, maybe even a scrimmage game or two. So trying to find out and figure out how your teams are. That's obviously the process you're all in a little bit. So let's talk about the state of your programs. What are you seeing so far in preseason practice, and what maybe are your expectations for the season? And Coach Harvey, I'll start with you from Ferrum.
Well, we're excited about the season. I think the last few years hadn't won as many games as we would have liked, but we were starting a lot of freshmen and sophomores. This year we're starting juniors and seniors, and I think in such a strong league, it's important to have juniors and seniors. So hopefully the experience will help us this year, and we'll know more what to expect and be much more competitive.
Coach Mathews, maybe a little bit different for you, past several years at Bridgewater, but now you're the head woman down there at Guilford. Talk a little bit about coming on to a new team and what you see from your squad.
Yeah, just getting to know my team in the first couple of weeks, spending time with them off the court, identifying leaders. So we've done a lot of that in the last couple of weeks. And then as far as practices go, getting a feel for personnel, not playing last year, and not really having a junior class. We have 11 kids on our roster. Sorry about that. And two that have only played college basketball. So just getting a feel for each other on the court and then seeing who can do what has been big.
Coach Hudy, state of your team right now.
We're really excited to just be able to practice again normally this year. We're a younger team, so we don't have as many veterans as maybe Ferrum has, but we have a lot of young talent and some local freshmen coming in, so a little bit more recruiting from the local 757 area. And I'm excited to see what we can do.
Coach Clancy at Washington and Lee.
Yeah, I mean, we're excited to get back to a normal year, just like everyone else. I think we have a class of 4 seniors that have been huge impact players for our program since they set foot on campus. So we're definitely leaning on them a lot. It feels like the other 3 classes, because of COVID, are basically first years. So I thought I had an experienced team, and then I realized, well, 4 of them are experienced. The rest are still trying to figure it out. So I think for us, it just depends on how those younger players can kind of meld into the mix.
Coach Clancy, I'll stay with you here for this as we talk a little bit about managing COVID. And one of the things that's kind of unique about this fall, if you will, leading into the winter season, is that you don't just have 1, but you have 2 classes that haven't gone through a normal preseason. So, Coach Clancy and then Coach Hudy, have you both touch on this a little bit, but what's it been like trying to bring 2 classes into the fold, into a normal process to get ready for a more normal season?
Yeah, I mean, it's been difficult. I think we all had different experiences of how our teams and how our schools navigated COVID last year. So we're all coming in at different places in terms of what we were able to do with our teams. So, I think for my group, I mean, it's just crazy. They hadn't gone through like normal class schedule and how much time it takes to have all your classes in person and actually be able to do some things socially. That their schedules are just so much busier. It's not just that we're doing more on the basketball court. They're trying to do more everywhere. So it's just managing a lot of their time and trying to help them navigate through how to balance things and so that they can fully commit to a basketball season.
Coach Hudy, your experience with this.
I mean, just to kind of echo what Christine said, I think what I found funny, or I guess interesting, was usually you rely on the older players to tell the younger players what the first day of practice is going to be like. And this year we literally had a meeting and the coaches told them, this is what it's going to be like on October 15th. Hopefully, just to kind of help them visualize it and prepare, because we just didn't have enough older kids who had an October 15th to experience it. And so just kind of telling them what to expect, I think helped hopefully get some anxiety down. But also I think we had to, as coaches, take on some of that leadership because we didn't have as many players to have that experience.
Coach Harvey, in all your time, being a head coach for many, many years, going through this, hearing things like having meetings for preparation for what the first day practice will be like, it's probably something you never thought you'd hear before. When going through the past 20 months or so with COVID, what have you learned about yourself? What has been big about managing yourself so that you could help manage your roster been for you during this time?
Well, just, last year, as challenging as it was, like I was extremely proud of how our kids handled it. I thought they were very, they took it as it came and they didn't get too rattled. And I thought, they did a great job. They were resilient. And for me personally, it's just something you've never experienced. And the fear of it all was kind of, it was kind of all consuming at times. And I think just taking care of ourselves, like mentally taking care of ourselves and being able to get through that situation and be there for our players. I've coached for a long time, and I know something that we have dealt with in the last few years, just on the mental health side of it, has been very challenging. And just being there for our players and helping them get through this and navigate around it has been a big part of what we've tried to do in the past year or so. And just realizing, as important as you think it is, it really is just a game. And being able to be there for our players and help them get through this incredibly challenging time in history is something that we'll always look back on. And I think it's going to change how we look at things just in general.
Coach Mathews, a little bit different for you. You dealt with it on the game side last year, going with the team at Bridgewater, that you were managing through that, but now you're at a school that didn't compete at all last year. What's the difference that you're seeing with the players just coming in, the energy they've got about knowing that they can expect to have a season now down there at Guilford?
Yeah, I think that there's this hunger with our returners, especially as you mentioned with some of the other programs. We have a huge sophomore class that never played. They never stepped foot in a college game. And they practiced minimally last year. So there's just this hunger to go out and compete. And I do think it's funny, Liz, kind of what you had said of just expectations. Players just don't know. Players have come to me and they said, well, what are our travel expectations? And what kind of gear do we get? And so it's just like a total blank slate. And it's pretty funny. And we chuckle about it sometimes in practice. But again, with Guilford, it's just a hunger to finally get out and compete.
Well, as with anything, we try to figure out about you guys as well going through this process, as our friends here at the Salem Rotary Club who are watching this like to learn a little bit more about you as well. So I'm going to start with Coach Hudy on this one. And what is your favorite part, but then maybe your least favorite part of being a collegiate women's basketball coach?
I mean, my favorite part is easy. It's developing the relationships with the players and seeing them become young women and then staying in contact with them after they leave. And so I think the best part about D3 is that you have these student athletes who go on and do a little bit of everything. I mean, I've had players who stay and who are coaches now, some are doctors, some are accountants, and it's nice to just have that relationship. My least favorite thing is very easy for me to come up with. I hate ordering gear because you can never get the right size. They say it's a medium, but if it's a medium in Under Armour, it's different than a medium in just a regular t-shirt. And I never seem to get it quite right.
Coach Harvey.
Just to follow what Liz said, I think just the relationships and that we have with our players, and you are with them at such an important time in their life, and they come in as 18-year-olds and seeing the world from one perspective, and we have a diverse campus, and helping them grow as people and have empathy and see things from a different perspective, and just try to teach them life lessons through basketball. Like, that means the world to me. And sometimes we don't realize until 20 years from now if we were successful with a group of players, and just seeing our players come back and being successful after they graduate. Like, that's my favorite part of this job. And, probably my least favorite part of this job, it's probably not something I should say, but just the recruiting piece. I got a family. I've got 3 kids of my own. One is a senior in college this year, and one's a freshman in college in Nashville, and then my youngest is a sophomore. And when you're on the road, you're away from your family, and you miss some of the things that they do because you're on the road recruiting for your job. And it's a huge piece of what we do, but probably my least favorite at this point in my career.
No doubt about that. Coach Mathews.
Yeah, just same thing, relationships with players and in the campus community. I'll go over and I'll have lunch with faculty and other staff members and other coaches, and just that networking and being a part of something really special and just bigger than just your program. And my least favorite has always been dressing nice for games. So JJ, I like to say that I started the trend with the polos years before the NBA started it. Our staff would just dress up in polos and just nice slacks and sneakers, and it was very comfortable. And we're going to continue doing that post-COVID.
Very nice. Coach Clancy.
I think I can echo everything that my colleagues, my peers have said, but for me, I guess I would say that I'm a little socially awkward. So to be able to develop these relationships with a sport that I love, it's not always easy for me to have that one-on-one conversation with someone, but we put a basketball in the mix and I can talk to them about anything. And we're talking about leadership, and we're talking about developing their academic and career plans and everything. And then we can throw up some half-court shots. So kind of balancing out those relationships with the sport that I love and can just have fun with. I mean, there are a lot of times I walk out on the court and I go, you know what? They actually pay me to do this. This is ridiculous. My least favorite part of it, there are some things for sure. I would say there are lots of jobs where you go in and you do your job and then you go home. Here you come in, and when your test comes, people come and watch, and everyone's got an opinion, and just having people watch what we do and have judgments on what we do and everything is really challenging. And I want to give my players the best experience, the fans, the families, everything. But inevitably, when the team wins, it's the team, and when the team loses, it's the coach. So
yeah, I'm waiting for that crowd to show up behind my shoulder and watch me write the women's basketball preseason poll release. I mean, that'd be, give me a critique on that. That'd be great anytime.
leave us on Zoom. We'll give you some criticism.
There we go. It would be the most boring Zoom ever. My head down the entire time typing. Well, coaches, it was great to talk to you today. We look forward to seeing you out there as early as Friday, November 5, when games are allowed to start. Thanks for joining me, and good luck this season.
Thanks, JJ.